in the DMs, if we ever date, you can't be telling people you're 14 because everyone knows I'm 18. They're going to think poorly of me and try exposing my... What is the out of context? How do you take that out of context? That seems strange. You handled everything poorly, literally everything. You put your own career and reputation first and destroyed mine. What about the nudes you sent me when I was 17? What about all those Discord calls? Well, here he is saying that he thinks he messed up, Kitten. So I guess he did. I guess he did actually do that. Slander. Slander! Now we got to address something that I talked about in the past that I want to see if I need to make some corrections on, okay? So I had made this video on my channel. Let's see here. Tom Dark, Koneko Kitten got exposed.
Document.
So in this video, I watched over all the Koneko Kitten stuff. It wasn't a stream. I just reacted to stuff from, you know, my room basically and watched all the videos about it. And I basically came away with the conclusion he was weird, but he didn't seem like a predator. There's been a bunch of videos calling him a predator on YouTube, and I'm curious what went on here. This person said, 2 young, immature people had a toxic relationship. It's not grooming nor predatory unless there's some extenuating circumstances. Still illegal if inappropriate messages were exchanged, but not predatory. Koneko going offline and making an IRL life is probably the best response. Seeing too many relatively innocent people have the same thing done to them by their exes and buy it at face value. So I had some people calling me out on Twitter for this, and I said I would make a video updating it, but then I didn't end up doing it. I think I said it on my community tab, and then I just forgot. I just literally forgot. But people said that I missed some stuff in this video, and I don't remember what it was. Yeah, here we go. Making a part 2 to the Koneko Kitten video. More stuff comes out, etc. More to the story. I also glanced over a lot of details in the last one. Not an excuse, but I just hate furry drama at this point, so that's the reason I didn't go too deep. Regardless, I'll be doing a follow-up with way more detail, hopefully definitive video on it all. Thanks, bye. And then I didn't do it. I just didn't do it. But I have a video now about it. This seems to be a comprehensive video about this, okay? It has almost 1 million views. So I assume this is the comprehensive video about Koneko Kitten. For the stuff I missed, maybe I'll find it out. Liking your own stuff is diabolical. I like all of my own videos because they are fire. But yeah, I'm curious. Why would I not like my own comments? If I'm saying it, obviously I like it. Obviously I agree with what I'm saying. So I'm gonna like it, okay? Anyway, I want to see this. I want to see what he did. The Roblox YouTuber who almost got away with it.
You may have came across a YouTuber who talked about Roblox topics every single day, or at least seen one of his videos on your homepage. But as of recently, Koneko Kitten has been caught out for making disgusting acts that could potentially ruin his entire career. And funny enough, he used to call out people who would do something similar to what he did. And that's why people have been making comments saying, well, this aged well. But how did this happen? How did he go from being the most popular Roblox commentary YouTuber to being clowned on by the entire internet by keeping his disgusting past as a secret and never made it public until a few years later? In this video, I'll be talking about Koneko Kitten, the Roblox YouTuber who almost got away with it.
What did he almost get away with is the question now.
But before we get into that messy situation, obviously we got to start off the video with this. Who is Koneko Kitten? Koneko Kitten was a Roblox YouTuber with over 1.3 million subscribers at the time I'm recording this video. He created his channel on April 26, 2016 and didn't post any content until a month later on May 26, 2016, where he posted his first ever video called Roblox. Phantom Forces commentary.
This guy was... I used to watch these videos and I don't even care about Roblox that much. But, oh, he deleted his channel. Oh, wow. Wow. Well, his videos are pretty good. I used to like them.
Hi, Internet. I'm alive and I'm well. But I want to vent to you a little bit of a frustration today that's not related to Roblox that has been going on in my...
There is an archive channel. He would basically just make videos about whatever trending stuff was going on Roblox. He'd make some of these longer pieces about people like Albert stuff where he would, you know, document their career, but I liked his videos. They were pretty good. And he did kind of have like a Discord mod look to him, but at some point he stopped doing that. He got less online and then he basically started lifting weights. He got, you know, really into weightlifting and he looked a lot better. He lost a bunch of weight. He wasn't fat anymore. He seemed to be improving his life. And then kind of right as he was exiting, he got called out by this person named Narpy. And then he just left. He left the internet after a few statements. He just left. I'm so curious what the worst of the claims is.
Talking about channel. And when you play the video, it starts off with him stating that it's his first episode on the channel and that the channel would start off with Roblox and Minecraft, but may occasionally branch off to some other games along the way.
What's good, guys? This is my first episode ever, and it's just on Phantom Forces.
Okay, I think we know the basics. I want to see the downfall.
To explain. In my videos on this very channel, I've been very vocal about working out. I would be talking about going to the gym in my videos, and even on my own community posts, I talked about how I'm mainly focused on my weightlifting journey. Last year, I got into fitness. I started working out and started taking care of myself and lost a bunch of weight. And ever since I've been on that journey and got into the resistance training part of it, like with lifting weights and everything, I grew to really have a really big appreciation for bodybuilding. It's a topic I'm genuinely passionate about, and it's something I actually enjoy doing every day. I know it's like a complete 180 from what you were expecting from me, considering how I used to look and how I presented myself on this channel, but this really is the case now. I just really even haven't been on my computer much because of that, because I have no drive to use my computer. Honestly, the last thing that sounds appealing to me right now is sitting on Discord all day making Roblox videos. I'm a grown man. I'm gonna be 25 years old in December, and I feel like this is the perfect time to completely turn my life around and try to better my body while I can.
Ever since he announced that he no longer finds his enjoyment to make Roblox videos, Turkey Tom posted a video on his second channel.
True, I did.
Called
Wait, what the hell? That's me.
And with being terminally online, and was congratulating him on taking a big risk and changing his life around.
And in this guy's case, he seems to have been previously the stereotype of the terminally online Discord mod, at least in appearance, and he finally decided he had enough. He wanted to turn his life around and become something more, become something better, something that he's actually proud of that will make him a better person in his eyes. And that makes me very happy. It truly does. I'm very happy for him. While he was on YouTube as a Roblox channel, he undoubtedly became a pretty big player in the Roblox scene with a name that commanded a certain level of respect. And some of his videos are...
This was it. Like, I was so glad to see him start getting jacked, and then he just left the internet after he got canceled.
Going to be remembered by a lot of people who have played the game for years. He made an impact, he left a sizable footprint, and now he's going to go try to do that in another area of life. I hope that he can succeed at becoming like a weightlifting influencer, fitness influencer, and if he decides to go back to Roblox stuff, then I wish him the best as well.
Koneko would also start posting his workouts and his daily life on his second channel, Koneko. The videos he posted would be him working out before a hurricane, went fishing for the first time, cleaning up trash in the woods, and even did lifting while listening to beautiful Chinese music blasting in the background.
Yeah, bitch!
That's awesome.
We have new merchandise, boys and girls. Yes, I know you're excited it's here. It's a unique Y2K inspired design for all you goth baddies. It's double-sided. It's got Leave Me Alone on the back. On the front, it says Turkey Tom in death metal font, but you can't really tell. And that's why it's awesome, okay? This isn't just YouTuber merch. Nobody in public is gonna know you're watching videos about losers, creeps, and P words, okay? Nobody's gonna know. All they're gonna know is that you have this super swag shirt and you don't even have to explain it to anyone. But if you see a real one in public, they'll know. We've got a puff print on it, which means that the print basically sticks off of the shirt here. You can feel it, it's very textured and nice. My new merch is so icy, I had to put it in the freezer. It's so cold. It's just what I needed for the summer months. And included in every order, we also have a sticker you can stick on your laptop, girlfriend, dog, whatever makes you happiest, you got it. And if you want to get this shirt right now, you actually can get it on my website right here on Turkey Tom's shop. You can select whatever size you want. Shipping is not too expensive. We've made it pretty affordable. There's a very limited quantity, and once they're gone, they're gone. We're not doing this again. So, yeah. Grab them while they're here. Before they're gone forever. Just like your mom.
Here's the thing. What I just showed you was every single Koneko Kitten viewer has seen. Everyone thought that he wasn't hiding anything or wasn't doing shit that could get him canceled. Turns out, he did the exact opposite.
His controversial downfall. Woo.
This all started on January 6, 2021, where Koneko would make a call-out post about Narpi on Twitter stating that he is emotionally him and many others, gaslighted him, targeted adults into sexual advances, and more. He showed a lot of proof in a 50-plus page document to back up his claims. If you don't know who Narpi is, he is a YouTuber with over 600,000 subscribers and gained his popularity from making viral memes that transferred over to Discord. Another YouTuber named Lonzo made a brief summary about his call-out and the proof that was shown.
It would open up with him saying
so many furries. Why are there so many furries these days on YouTube? Like, there's just a lot of furries. We used to hate furries online, and now they're like accepted or something. Like, people think they're cool. I don't know what happened. There used to be more shame. There used to be more fucking shame. And now it's just like, oh, you're a furry. It's fine. Furries need to be kept down, okay? They need to be kept at the bottom of the caste system of society. Because when they rise up, bad things happen, okay? Bad things happen.
And Narpi had been emotionally and psychologically manipulating him and others. Now he wants to put everything to rest and show people what he's like behind the scenes. He would then show 2 screenshots of Narpi threatening himself despite Koneko telling him to stop, showing that there was some truth to the
No one sees or notices them but you, Tom. Well, you only see them online. You don't really see them in real life because they hide it.
Situation and not just a bunch of rambling. He goes into the story and how they met in August 2019 through a mutual association with another friend, and that things started to spice up between the two of them that very month, notably saying that he would give in to Narpi's advances because he felt an obligation to do so, alongside a screenshot of how their dynamic was like during that time. Their affection for each other would turn into intimacy rather quickly, which Koneko says that he went through with it in order to make him happy, alongside mentioning Discord calls where the implied actions took place between one another. He says he was wrong for doing this, but again states that he did it to make Narpi happy. Now this went on for weeks until he decided to put his foot down. He would end up doing so in October 2019, in which Narpi showed that
Okay, so he's saying they had like a weird, I kind of know all this stuff, they had a weird toxic relationship. He's saying Narpi was making uncomfortable advances on him. He wasn't comfortable at a certain point. I think Koneko Kitten later admitted to lying about this and was like, yeah, we had a mutual relationship.
He felt hurt by him not saying this any sooner, as the screenshot ends off going in that direction. This will lead into a conversation where Narpi is upset about Koneko not wanting to talk that kind of way anymore, with Koneko trying to explain to him it's not because he doesn't want to be his friend or anything, he just doesn't want to talk that kind of way with him, as Narpi sulks and stays upset over the situation going on. This behavior will culminate in a long conversation on the 9th,
and it became pretty obvious that Narpi felt like Koneko was rejecting his advances because he liked him.
I got blinded by the eclipse. Can you fund my Mr. Beast eyesight curing surgery, pretty please? Yeah, just give me 10,000 bucks and I'll loan you a little bit of it back.
He got caught up in his feelings about the whole situation. Koneko would then state that those kind of interactions would stop between them.
Too busy choking the chicken to find the block button. That's real.
Until December, when he gave in to them once again, saying that this was the very last time they ever did anything NSFW together. He would then show a screenshot of Narpi trying to convince someone to let them send images to him despite being underage, and another of a former partner of his alleging that during their relationship, if he wasn't up to his standards, Narpi would flirt with other people and use that leverage to get what he wants, showing how manipulative he can be. In that first screenshot where Narpi was clearly pressuring the guy into letting him send images in November 2019, he would actually take a screenshot of when something went down between them involving the images. He would then decide whether he wanted to twist this on the guy a year later.
I'm remembering why I didn't make this video, because I just hate looking at this. I've looked at too many furries to want to do it again.
Later, November 2020, even though he was 18 and Narpi was 17, which again is another example of his very manipulative nature. Koneko would then show how he tried the same downplaying tactic with him back in September 2019, which in hindsight was a very smart move, as Narpi has shown that he's willing to twist things in order to fit his narrative. There would be more instances of Narpi trying to pressure Koneko to send his own images to him and even meet up together one day, with Koneko not outright shutting down the conversation but seemingly trying to skirt around it instead. He would show that Narpi has admitted to targeting 20-year-olds despite being underage at the time. Given he tried to use that against someone in the future when they were 18, it makes it seem like all he wants to do is use people until he gets bored or can't take it anymore and try to ruin their life in the process.
Koneko would show 2 screenshots of Narpi sending cub art, and then afterwards had his realization, and then started making jokes about not wanting to get cancelled. Koneko would also post 2 more Twitter threads about Narpi, one of them being him getting engaged to relationships with a 14-year-old and pretended to be
Twitter user Narpi engaged in a relationship with a 14-year-old minor while pretending to be 18, then pretending to be 17, took advantage of the minor's personal life and played with them until they ultimately broke up.
18 and 17, and the other tweet was someone flat out calling him a. This document gave a horrible look for Narpi as a creator and as a person, and the outcome for all of this was getting pressured to delete his Discord server due to the amount of death threats he received, pretty much losing all of his supporters' respect, getting doxxed and swatted while he was live streaming, and many more stuff. For 2 years, Narpi wanted to make a video addressing the allegations but couldn't due to his immaturity at the time. But all of that stopped on October 22nd, 2023, when he would announce to his Discord server that he was working on the video responding to everything. This, however, led Koneko to publicly make a Twitter thread talking about his current thoughts on Narpi.
This is where he like got out ahead of it and was like, well, actually, I liked it too.
2 days later, in a Twitter thread, he somewhat owns up to his mistakes that he did in the past with Narpi, but actually doesn't own up to everything. It'll be talked about more in the video, so don't worry. October 28 hits, and Narpi finally posts a video called My Side of Everything, where he would start off with the video talking about his other controversies he was in with other people besides Koneko. But once he started talking about his relationship with Koneko Kitten, he would then expose him for lying about a lot of things he stated in the document and everything that he did in the past, and showed proof of him hiding it from the public. This was when everything really went downhill for
Covered his eyes. He got turned into a YouTube thumbnail. That's the worst fate of all time. They just put the black bar over his eyes. Picture sound effect. Ching-ching. That's
Koneko,
crazy.
And things would never be the same for his supporters.
In the document, Koneko states that our relationship was very one-sided, in the sense that he didn't reciprocate intimately or to me much or at all. I would like to correct this and prove that not only was our relationship not one-sided, but that it was rather mutual, and it had went on for many months. A trigger warning, these following screenshots are extremely explicit and for some context, these screenshots are from a video I recorded of our conversations long after we'd had them. The deleted user is me, but the account actually isn't deleted. I had just renamed it to that. The earliest recorded encounter I had with Koneko was in September of 2019. I believe we had earlier encounters, but this is all I had recorded. This screenshot was from the same time. However, I excluded some messages here because it shows an explicit picture of me that I do not want to be shown publicly. Here's a conversation from a few days later where I had another encounter with Koneko, and here's a conversation from the same time later that month. I had many more encounters with Koneko around this time. However, my point was that this was not a one-sided relationship. Koneko and I both did this willingly and mutually. Koneko had stated in his document that he never once asked me for nudes. This is completely untrue, and I had never sent him a nude without his permission. At the time Koneko made his document, he deleted a bunch of our chat logs. The reason I believe he did this was so that he could capture a very specific narrative in his document. And the reason he didn't delete—
So I guess Koneko lied about it back in the day. That's probably the worst criticism during this part. That's fair. Imagine this dude's parents, yeah. I mean, yeah, if he lied about Narpi, that's, you know, a decent criticism to make. I don't blame Narpi for coming back.
All the evidence is because I suspect that at the time, he didn't realize that the account actually was not deleted. Here's a screenshot where Koneko admits to deleting messages from our conversations. And here's another screenshot where he mentioned it was cherry-picked. Here are the screenshots from a conversation where he very clearly deleted messages, as my side of the conversation makes absolutely no sense if those were his only messages. His document states that he grew uncomfortable with the pace of our friendship and how fast it had moved from casual to He also stated that he shut it all down in October of 2019. However, this is not true. We continued to be until December of that year, 1 month before I would turn 18. Here's a conversation from December of 2019 where we were still lewd with each other. As mentioned, we stopped right before I had turned 18, and this took a big toll on me, because I thought that I would be with him after I turned 18, when in reality, that was not the case, and he became distant from me. He would also go on to state that he was fully consensual towards the nudes that I would send him, and that his document was extremely cherry-picked to paint a narrative. The next section I want to cover are the grooming accusations made against me in Koneko's document. Koneko had made statements and linked threads accusing me of being a groomer and urged people to believe this as fact while providing no evidence for those claims. In 2019, while I was still close with Koneko,
so Koneko Kitten made false allegations. Is that what happened?
I would talk to him about Red, and I had told him the true story about what happened. I also told him that my screenshots with Red had been taken out of context. However, he still felt the need to include this in his document. Unfortunately, this ended up being the most reposted section of his document, and these
Twitter user Narpic engaged in a sexual relationship with a 14-year-old. Okay.
False groomer and allegations would end up sticking to my name for the years that followed. Also, in Koneko's thread, he mentioned that I flirted.
How could it be out of context though? Like in the DMs, if we ever date, you can't be telling people you're 14 because everyone knows I'm 18. They're gonna think poorly of me and try exposing my ass. What is the out of context? How do you take that out of context? That seems strange.
Section of his document, and these false groomer and allegations would end up sticking to my name for the years that followed. Also, in Koneko's thread, he mentioned that I flirted with a minor in my Discord server by calling them daddy material. This thread has since been deleted off of Twitter, but Wayback Machine still has it. I did not do this, and I have never flirted with random people in my public voice chats. When these claims were alleged, I was at the peak of my YouTube.
Why are they bouncing so much? Why are they doing this?
I find it hard to believe that if I had joined a voice channel and flirted with a minor, that there wouldn't be a voice recording of me doing so. It blows my mind that these claims were taken at face value, without a clip of me doing anything. He would also then later admit to me that he knew these claims had no—
I know I did. I handled this horribly. I didn't know what to do, and I'm sorry. You handled everything poorly, literally everything. You put your own career and reputation first and destroyed mine. What about the nudes you sent me when I was 17? What about all those Discord calls where it is, I don't deserve any respect from you? What about literally everything you left off in that document that you only filled up with random threads about Hamid Pedo, the most fakest, absurd things imaginable? Well, here he is saying that he thinks he messed up, Kitten, so I guess he did. I guess he did actually do that. Slander. Slander! Furry slander.
No substance and was prioritizing his own career over mine. In Koneko's document, he claims that I had sent him cub art maliciously. This is not true. I had sent Koneko what I thought was kimono artwork. He liked the art and I wanted to send him more, so I did a reverse image search, which revealed that the art was actually drawn by an NSFW artist. Immediately after I found out that the art was drawn by an NSFW artist, I realized that it was cub art and not kimono artwork. My reaction to this was finding it funny and making jokes about it, as this was my sense of humor at the time. When I said, even though it's good, I was not referring to the cub artist Twitter, I was referring to the art that I had sent to Koneko. This claim was added on because it's part of the pedo and grooming accusations in the document. Koneko knew the context here and still added it on because, without context, my actions look quite disgusting. This is also something that I later clarified to him and owned up to fully. In 2022, I reached out to Koneko apologizing and owning up privately for my mistakes in 2020. As I mentioned in the intro, I had been thinking about making a video like this for a long time. However, every time I would approach Koneko, he would constantly dodge and stall whenever I requested him to own up to his mistakes in the document. In this screenshot here, I call him out and speculate as to why he was so hesitant to own up to his own mistakes. That being because of the potential backlash he might receive due to him being with me when I was 17. He assured me that this was not the case. However, I was not convinced. And then he mentioned that I might look bad because of Naku. For those who don't know, Naku was a 16-year-old girl Koneko dated back in 2019 while he was 20 years old. Koneko and Naku were together while him and I were being with each other over Discord. After they broke up, Koneko would go on and make a statement about their relationship, justifying it by claiming that their relationship was purely platonic and that he was not a because he was not sexual with Naku. I have no idea about their relationship dynamics, as we barely spoke about that. He had claimed that he was asexual with near zero interest in 18 plus activities.
He's asexual. Koneko was in the asexual allegations are back. Everybody's asexual these days.
No way in asexual during this time, as he had been extremely sexual together with me during 2019 when I was—
It is weird to date a 16-year-old when you're 20. That is very strange. I guess he's claiming that it's not sexual or something, but I don't know. How's a relationship purely platonic? How does that— A relationship is not platonic. It's not what that word means.
17 years old. Go together. 2 weeks ago, when I reached out to Koneko and told him that
Holy wall of text.
I was making this video, I pleaded with him to try to make a statement retracting the groomer and allegations he made against me. Although he had promised many months prior that he would do this, he would ultimately go back on his promise and reject the idea entirely. Instead, he would deflect and talk about my actions during 2020, using his grandfather as a pivot point and blaming me for the time he'd lost. I continued to pressure him to come forward, but he never gave in. He continued to deflect and dodge accountability. However, he ended up offering to record a voice note for this video, but this wasn't really something that I was interested in. I told him that I wanted him to own up to his mistakes on his platform, not mine.
He probably would have been better off to just do that on his own platform too, rather than wait, because then it would look like he's at least owning up to it of his own volition rather than just waiting until the last possible moment to come out about it, right? That would probably look way better.
Strangely enough, after I'd spoken to my community explaining why I'd been inactive for the last few days and why I missed a couple streams, Koneko felt the need to speak publicly about me, owning up partially to some of his mistakes. He goes on to state that he lied about being manipulated and being forced into situations with me, that our relationship was not one-sided but was rather entirely mutual, that he led me on when I was 17, and that he knowingly included false groomer allegations against me to make his side more believable. He severely downplays those statements and the damage his document did to me. In the Discord message to his friends, he worded it to come across that he was not aware of—
Why didn't Narpy respond at the time is a big question I have. Why didn't Narpy just make a video about it? Why wait all these years, you know?
How much damage the document would do to my reputation, but fails to mention that he had his friends reach out to Keemstar so that his document could get more traction.
Wait, really? More Google Docs allegations about a Minecraft YouTuber known as Narpy responded saying the person exposing him is not a good person. Damn, he got Keemstar on it. He got the commentary brigade.
And ultimately do more damage. To me, this recent statement was a last-ditch effort from his side to try to save face after he realized that I was actually going through with making this video. I am really glad that he decided to own up and admit some of the things he did wrong. However, I am disappointed that he did it in such a disingenuous way. He claims that he feels guilty and that he feels really bad about everything. Yet, he only came forward once he realized that his attempt to manipulate me into silence hadn't worked this time, and I was still coming forward with my side of the story. The statements he made this week were not made out of guilt or because he feels sorry. He made these statements as a last effort to save his own skin, and for that I am truly disappointed.
Watching that was definitely a lot for him to talk about, especially if Narpy said himself that Koneko severely damaged his life over some allegations that were taken.
Is this Narpy guy uploading now? Yeah, I mean, it seems to me that with this individual, this Narpy person, they had a mutual relationship. If they were 20 and 17, I would say that's probably not grooming. Maybe in extreme circumstances, in some wild world, it could be. I don't know that it's grooming. It does seem like they had some sexual conversations, and eventually Koneko Kitten, he was ashamed of that, so he decided to basically claim that this person was in his document to bury them so he wouldn't have to deal with it, right? Definitely deserves to be criticized for that. I mean, that is the thing that I criticized him for in my original video about this, but I basically said I think Koneko's not a which maybe there's more evidence in here that he is. I don't know. Being 20 and dating a 16-year-old is definitely really, you know, it's weird. I can't deny that, but once again, context matters. You know, I need to know more details.
Taken out of context or weren't true at all. After that video was published, Koneko decided to upload a response video and explain his side of the situation.
1620 is absolutely predatory. I mean, it can be, but if he's saying that there were no DMs exchanged or something like that, if you never sexted the person, like realistically, were they just talking on Discord? Is that what was going on? It's not necessarily predatory. It can be. It absolutely can be. And that is a weird age gap I wouldn't endorse. Even 20 and 17, you know, I don't think 20-year-olds should date 17-year-olds, probably, in a lot of cases, but it's not necessarily grooming. And it absolutely depends on the context, too. They're 20 and 17 it's 3 years apart, right? Will we say an 18-year-old and a 21-year-old? Is that grooming? Why does the 1 year age difference make such a big difference? Weren't there sexual messages? Well, according to Koneko, there weren't. So, I don't know.
This video is going to serve as a quick, honest response to allegations I've seen circle about me on the internet over the past few days. I've made a statement on my Twitter account publicly addressing this already, but I do believe moving forward, the best thing to do is to
Kick or Keep, it got canceled.
This to my audience. A couple years ago, I had a relationship with another YouTuber under the name of Narpy, whom of which recently came out with a YouTube video talking about a Google document that I made a few years ago surrounding his behavior, and going into details about our personal relationship.
1621 is unhinged. I mean, the greater the age gap gets, the sketchier it gets. Like, I think when you're 21, you should not date a 16-year-old, obviously. Absolutely, obviously. You know, the closer in age you are, probably the better, okay? I'll agree with that. But if you're 20, if one person's 20, one person's 16, they have conversations on Discord, okay? If they sext, there's something to criticize there. If they exchange nudes, there's absolutely something to criticize there. That's a conversation that can be had. If they didn't, is it grooming? Where's the grooming? You know, grooming is a sexual thing.
Considering the age difference was barely above 2 years, I didn't really see much of a moral issue.
What age gap would you consider too far? I mean, it's a case-by-case basis, obviously. I mean, it's like, okay, so obviously a 13-year-old dating a 25-year-old, that's not dating. That's, you know, the act of grooming a child, right? Obviously. But the closer they get in age, And the more context we can get from the situation, we can determine, is it grooming, is it not? Grooming can be for anything, not just sexual. Well, if that's a conversation you want to have, we can have another conversation about that. But obviously the implication is that it's sexual, right? If you're not in middle or high school and she is, that's very suspicious. If you're a 19-year-old and you're dating an 18-year-old who's in high school, that's suspicious, is it? That's not a good argument. That's just not. That's not a good argument. Like, you have to at least be consistent with this stuff. So obviously that argument falls flat in its face. Adults should stay away from kids online if they have a platform. Obviously, yeah.
With it back then. Before I go into talking about our relationship, I do need to talk about context, which is the document.
What about two old people with a 25-year age gap? Obviously, that's not a problem.
That I made a few years ago, back in January 2021.
The case that I'm making is just that it's on a case-by-case basis. It's hard to apply an exact standard. There are obviously giant standards that we can make for, like, if you're sexting a 9-year-old, if you're sexting a 12-year-old, obviously you're a fucking... That's, like, dead to rights. Obviously. That's a general rule we can make. And that's obviously, like, okay... Got it. But the closer they get in age, like if it's a 16-year-old and 19-year-old, it may be grooming, it may not be. I feel like I have to know more. I'm sorry.
I released a lengthy Google document detailing various amounts of abusive behavior that Max was displaying towards several friends and me at the time. And at the time that I wrote this document, it was the climax of our relationship, when he was being extremely abusive towards me, and I wrote that really purely as a way to try to exit the situation that was ongoing with him. I obviously could have handled this in a much different and better way than a manipulative one-sided document, and I do apologize for doing that. This document is very manipulative.
And for example, I went on the Some Ordinary podcast with Oompaville, right? And I think we talked about grooming at some point there. I think I'm remembering this properly. I could be wrong, but I think he said when he was 15, he dated a 19-year-old and he didn't feel like he was groomed. If the person involved doesn't feel that he was groomed and he's an adult now, able to look back on it with full perspective and think that he wasn't groomed, then he probably wasn't. Now, obviously, context fucking matters. It could have been grooming. It could have been. If you're doing like fetish mining stuff, we can have a conversation, okay? But am I supposed to tell Oompaville, who's an adult, that he was groomed? Or maybe she was 18? I can't remember specifically, but like, am I supposed to tell someone? Obviously, sometimes kids can't realize their trauma, or even adults looking back retrospectively can't realize their trauma, right? But am I supposed to say that, like, what am I supposed to tell Oompaville? You know, my BWC smells, interesting. Boogied caused the eclipse, interesting.
And it paints our entire relationship to be as if it's one-sided, or that
as a 15-year-old, you probably don't have life experience to understand you're getting groomed. That's true, but Oompa's like in his mid-20s now.
I never gave in or was complicit with this relationship whatsoever. I made several excuses for my actions in this relationship and made it seem like it was not a mutual relationship between the two of us. And for that, I am sorry for that. I did not once call him a groomer or a inside of this document, but I did include old allegations, which very much could have made it seem like that was the case. I personally knew these allegations inside of the document to be false, and they were included inside of it to point out manipulative behavior that he had done towards other people. Obviously, the wording inside of the document could be done a lot better, and I could totally understand how it looks like and how it would totally direct people to believe otherwise. I cannot deny that the effects that this document had on him when it initially published was very devastating for his career. And at the end of the day, the times that I have talked to Max about this specific document, he wasn't against the fact that I made it if it were about abusive and manipulative behavior. If it were a 5-page document going over that, we wouldn't even be talking about this right now. The issue that I had in this document was the fact that I never took any real accountability for my parts in the relationship, and again, made it seem like it was completely one-sided when it was very much a mutual thing between the two of us. The next 2 years following this document, there was no resolution towards it, and there is a lot of reasons for that. I want to go ahead and say it up front that I do believe I was just a coward, afraid of my own actions and afraid of my own choices. I shouldn't be like that anymore. I'm a different man now, and I shouldn't be afraid to own the shitty choices that I made when I was a complete degenerate a few years ago. But within seriousness though, right after everything between me and Max went down, I got chugged into the situation with Fire Sale and my real life friends. That basically took over my life for the year following. I really only got back in contact in around June 2022, and this is right after I had exited everything regarding that situation, when I was very mentally unwell and absolutely not in any position to be talking to anybody, let alone him. Ultimately, my end thoughts in the document that I made almost 3 years ago is that it never should have happened, and I was in zero position to be making a document on him at all. And I regret that a lot, and I am sorry, and I have been for a very long time. I did remove this document years ago myself, as I have not agreed with it in a very long time, but it does not—
Well, even if you removed it, obviously you have to make a public statement about that to clarify that, or the rumors are still going to circulate, right? You have to make a statement.
Not undo the damage that it did to him. Showcase some chat logs from our relationship back then, which are, very degenerate, to say the least. I would like to say that these chat logs are authentic, they are true, and they are me on the other side of the conversation. It is not something that I'm proud of, and I have long grown out of being a degenerate e-sexing people on Discord. I am not at all proud of these conversations, and I haven't been in several years, but I do need to show them to show that I was at one point a very degenerate young man online. I think taking one look at how I used to look 4 to 5 years ago kind of just immediately proves my point and why I feel nothing.
No. Just no. No, wait, well, okay, what is the context of this picture? What's going on here?
The next thing he did inside of this
Based. That's true. What is going on here?
Video was bring up my relationship from nearly half a decade ago with Miss Kitten because of one screenshot conversation.
Dude, you can't wear the collar, bro.
That I had back in July 2022, something that I've already stated when I was not in the place to be talking to this guy at all. Our age difference is roughly around a 3-year, 9-month age difference. I turned 20 years old shortly after we had begun dating, and it definitely was a very weird look for me almost half a decade ago. I will firmly stand by the fact that I was not intimate whatsoever towards her in this relationship, and we were purely platonic. The relationship itself also did not break any laws, so I have really nothing else to add about it past that point. Throughout this relationship, though, I was heavily defended by everyone inside of the Roblox community when this was ongoing, which made me feel in good company regarding things. The mindset and mentality I had back then was, if it's legal, it doesn't matter, which in hindsight was incredibly stupid, but it has been almost half a decade ago at this point. I think this statement that I made several years ago regarding our breakup and our relationship in general is certainly worthy of criticism. I have given honest responses about our breakup to people before that have gone unseen, where the reason we broke up initially was because I was morally uncomfortable by the relationship and recognized that we were both in completely different parts of our lives. Me and Miss Kitten have remained very good friends over the years and have kept in contact ever since that point. And ever since she was included inside of this YouTube video, she's been nothing but stressed about it and wanted no inclusion in it whatsoever. She was not given a heads up. She was not asked. Again, I believe that it is worthy of criticism. I am fine with that. But I just do not think that this video was the place to do. And if you were seriously trying to bring that up as a point, the most and the bare minimum you could have done is just reach out to her or at least give her a heads up beforehand. This idea that is going around that I stopped caring about her the second that we broke up is completely and entirely false and is proven easily by the fact that we still actively talk and are friends to each other.
As I've mentioned previously, I have absolutely no idea about Koneko's relationship.
What is this background? Aren't you a YouTuber? How do you have this giant background noise? What's going on? As soon as the allegations hit, your production quality takes a nosedive, dude. Make the audio nice when you respond to the allegations.
Relationship with Naku, or about why it stopped. I also know next to nothing about her. The only point I want to address was his claim of being asexual during this time, which is just completely false.
I did not lie here. I am asexual. What I am, though, is an umbrella term under the asexual category called gray sexual.
All right, we got a new vocab term, gray sexual. Let's get that beautiful art off screen and look up what gray sexual is. People who experience limited sexual attraction. In other words, they experience sexual attraction very rarely or with low intensity. I'm gonna be honest, Koneko Kitten, based on those DMs, I don't think you're gray sexual. I don't think you are.
Which is somebody that only experiences this attraction some of the time, but not at all. I don't actively seek sex in relationships. It's not something that's a priority for me, and it never
It's not? What are you seeking?
Particularly has been. I personally do not have anything else to add from.
What do? You just hang out? You just watch TV? You just have a fun time? Sounds cringe to me. You gotta be going gorilla mode for it to be a relationship, in my opinion.
Max's video. I've said my piece regarding all of that. I put out a public statement onto my Twitter account.
So just having a low sex drive? No, you don't understand. It's not low sex drive. It's gray sexual, okay? Respect. Respect. You need to put some respect on his name, okay? You can't just have a low sex drive. You can't just, not really want to, that much. Gray sexual. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind here. It's real.
And this is pretty much all I'm going to say moving forward regarding the situation. I was a degenerate, manipulative person a couple years ago, and I make zero denial or excuses for my actions. I should have known better, and I did end up hurting him in the end from that. And if Max ends up seeing this video by chance, I do want to...
I feel like he didn't need to leave YouTube for this. I feel like he could have just made more videos. I guess he doesn't want to be on YouTube anymore. He wants to be a normie now, because the internet kind of ruined his brain, but I feel like, I don't know. I feel like he could have just pushed on. What he did is really weird and gross, but other people on YouTube have done other stuff. Similar stuff. Don't know who it could be. And, they still have careers, so.
I say that I am sorry for it. I believe I am better suited to be offline for a long time. I don't want a large online platform, and I'd prefer to be to myself to continue working on things. I am not the degenerate loser that I was almost half a decade ago, e-sexing people on Discord like that, but I will say at this point that I did have some issue of accepting
at least he's owning up to it, I don't know.
Accountability in the end. And to Max, I am sorry. The path that I have been on has been almost completely offline, and I've been embracing nature and life in of itself to try to improve myself. I've been doing this for the past year and few months now, and that's really the path I want to continue to keep going down. I also found God earlier this year, and I've regularly been partaking in Bible studies since April. I will continue going down the path that I'm on.
Found God, that's good.
And if I need to upload anything for myself online,
personal growth. See some personal growth.
It's going to be on my alternative YouTube channel, where that is my personal outlet that I've had, and is completely disassociated from any sort of Roblox-related communities. I am not the man that I was anymore, but in order to accept that, I must the man that I was by publicly accepting my faults.
If y'all remember what I just showed a little...
I think he actually found God. Is that not... I don't know. I feel like he's probably being sincere here. I don't think it's that manipulative. He stopped being a Discord degenerate. He started working out. He found God. He's not online as much anymore. I don't know. I feel like it's not that corny.
Little bit ago, part of the video said deleted clip. Some of y'all are probably wondering, what is that about? Well, to give some context, this was actually not the first time he posted his response video. What I showed you was the second time he uploaded the video. The first time he posted his response video, that part was actually included in the video. The second time he posted it, that part was gone, and nobody knew that until someone called him out for it.
Koneko briefly talked about his relationship with Miss Keepings, aka Naku, who was 16 and Koneko 20 at the time they were dating. He kept saying this relationship was half a decade ago, evidently as some downplaying or manipulation tactic because it was only 3 to 4 years ago, and it worked. Koneko also said that he was not intimate with her and that the relationship was purely platonic, then removed that part from the video.
It was a very weird look for me almost half a decade ago. I will firmly stand by the fact that I was not intimate whatsoever towards her in this relationship, and we were purely platonic.
Why was it cut?
He trimmed out the part where he claimed his relationship with a 16-year-old while he was 20 was purely platonic.
I mean, is the possible explanation that he just didn't want this girl mentioned anymore? She didn't want to be in the public eye. She didn't want to be in the conversation like he previously said, so maybe that's why?
Platonic, which puts into question if it really was. Koneko lied about the sexual nature of and how sexual he was in the relationship with Narpi. So there's a shot he's lying here too.
That's true. That's a good point. That's a decent point.
What Koneko never brought up in his response video was the fact that he was complicit in solicited nudes from Narpi. Narpi's video showed screenshots of Koneko acknowledging that he asked for nudes and times where Koneko apparently asked for them. Koneko did not contest this point, and remember, he told high-profile Roblox users and former friends of his that this video was 100% true and not a lie. This is a huge issue because Narpi was a minor at this time, which means Koneko asking for those pictures is literally illegal.
If you're 18 years old and you get news from a 17-year-old girl, is that a problem? Why is the argument on legality? Do you think that he's going to be arrested for this realistically? Do you think that's going to happen? What do you think is going to come out of this? When I was 18, I was dating a 17-year-old when we met. Do you think we were purely platonic? Legally speaking, news from a 17-year-old counts as CP? Okay, yes, but you're not going to be prosecuted for that. Hey, yo, Tom. Hey, yo, Tom. What does that even mean? Gross, Tom. I assume you guys are joking. Anyone who's saying that is fucking... If anybody actually has that opinion, we need to have a call right now so I can fucking scream at you.
Koneko lied in his document about never asking for them, and in his video, he never mentioned how he solicited nudes from Narpi. It was one of the most incriminating things he did, and he did not mention it or take any accountability for it once in his response. Koneko would delete his response video after a few hours, claiming it downplayed himself and that it showed a pattern of manipulative behavior.
Speaking of that, I'm going to be reading his community post shortly after he deleted his response video. I have chosen to remove my response video.
Like in real life, this is not even a conversation people have. Like nobody calls an 18-year-old a for dating a 17-year-old. To be clear, that's not the ages here. They were different. I'm just making the point.
I recognize that it downplays myself pretty significantly. I have watched it over and over again, and there are times even there that I was downplaying myself. There is so much worse that I did with Narpi, and I seriously downplayed that. I will not resurface online ever on here and do not feel I deserve a platform online, but I believe it shows a pretty bad pattern of dishonest, manipulative behavior from me. I really need to figure out why I'm
What's the legality on the 1870 thing in terms of fix? I mean, it's probably illegal. It probably is. Like technically illegal, but nobody's going to prosecute that due to Romeo and Juliet laws and whatever else, right? Unless you're like selling it and distributing it, in which case you probably will be charged, which is deserved in my opinion. But if you're not, like you're having a relationship
like this before I really...
Also, like legality is not the end all be all for me. Just because something's illegal doesn't mean I care. How many times do you think I've jaywalked? How many times do you think I've driven over the speed limit? Like I don't really care.
Step online again. I don't do weird shit anymore, and I'm glad I can own that. I have long stopped being like that, but I was so degenerate and deplorable years ago with my actions that I do not believe it personally justifies me posting online. I'm going to remain offline for an indefinite amount of time. I will not return here. My next focus from here is figuring out why I am like this, because it isn't healthy for me whatsoever. The way I socialize isn't healthy, and it is not healthy for me to be here while I clearly have problems to still assess. So, since he went from calling out people who committed horrible acts to being called out for committing horrible acts, what's next? Well, nothing. He's currently moving on with his life and has shown that in the past couple of months and is clearly enjoying himself and isn't planning on coming back online anytime soon. And that's what happens to a YouTuber when they try to hide their past from the public eye. Thank you for watching and stay safe out there.
Okay, decent video. I kind of got the impression they were going to call him a P word, but they didn't. Yeah, interesting video. You know what? Koneko Kitten definitely did some weird, questionable stuff, especially with the lying in that document. Hopefully he doesn't do that again. And hopefully he actually stays the fuck offline and has a normal life now. That would be nice. That would be really nice.